Oh, that's me whistling. I thought I was off. Hold on. I'm getting ready. Okay, Matt, can you say hello? All right, yep, we got you. All right, I'm starting up. Actually, hold on. Let me just do my quick disclaimer first. This group has been really good about this, so I know it's seems excessive or weird, but please keep in mind that this is a publicly recorded and put on YouTube, meant for kids, meant for families, meant for everybody. So please keep swears, nudity, profanity, or sexual content out of chat. This is about Splinterlands. You guys are welcome to ask whatever questions you want. The real question, though, is can you do it peacefully? If you don't like something that Matt or I is doing, it's okay to say, hey, I really don't like this decision, and here's why. What I don't want you to do is like run around and be like, you guys are terrorists, assholes, we hate your face, and I want you all to die. You know, just like keep it professional, keep your criticisms, if you have them, non-personal, and we will happily listen to them and try to figure out what we can do best to address your concerns. And, we might point you back to, find out if this is a bigger problem within the group or something like that. But I just want you to know, hey, we'll listen to everything, we'll respond to everything, but this is a publicly recorded event. Please keep it, PG-13. Okay, so that said, let me go get this started. Hello, everybody. It is 9 a.m. It is July 2nd in the year of 2021, and this is an Ask Me Anything for the Splinterlands community. You are currently listening to the voice of Agro, the CEO and one of the co-founders of Splinterlands, and I'm joined, as normal, by my co-host and co-creator of Splinterlands, Matt. Matt, can you say hello?
Hello, everybody. Great to be here.
All right, so as per usual, we're gonna run around and answer questions that anybody might have. If we get some folks from the YGG community, we're gonna give them some time to come say hello and talk about what they're doing with the Scholars program and the rentals. We can go give some updates on this end of the rental markets and what's happening. And just generally, as far as like the business side of things, the one negative that's kind of currently going on is that we have our ban from Twitter, and we're trying to figure that out. When we, maybe Chris Roberts will come on later and talk about it a bit. We'll see what he wants to do. But man, they just told us, you violated the rules, and they won't cite what rules, they won't cite what tweets, they won't cite what dates, they won't give us any information. So we're still appealing and we're still fighting it. And in the meantime, we're putting out, calls to other communities to help us keep spreading the word and keep spreading what we're doing in the face of the silence that they're giving us. So, but otherwise, from a sales perspective and a business perspective, we're entirely sold out of packs. We're entirely sold out of land. There's a small pre-sale that's available to outside investors that don't live in the United States, and a huge piece of that has already sold, and the rest of it, it's in reserve. So we're holding on to it as we strike a couple final deals here with exchanges and some key players in the industry. So all things considered, the company from a sales perspective really couldn't be in a stronger spot right now. So that's kind of my update. It's a little bit slow without product to sell, but I'm starting to get into looking at designing other games, and the next one would be a turn-based RPG, and that's sort of in my brain. No timeline, no nothing, no promises, no anything, but just that's kind of like what's on the radar there. Matt, do you want to give any kind of like high-level product roadmap, where we're at and how you're feeling and what's going on these days?
Yeah, I'll also mention that Jarvie's planning on coming on like when we're done with the AMA in an hour or so. and he's going to talk about what they're building for the new rental system on Peak Monsters, which I think is really cool, and that a lot of you would probably be interested in. So feel free to hang on after we're done yakking here, and listen to that, and ask Jarvie your questions. But I'm just super excited for everything that we're doing. It's like a lot of stuff that we've at least been planning for a very long time that's like really starting to happen. So as we announced, the new rental system will be released next week. And, within the game, it's really just supporting the back end of the whole system and then allowing third-party sites like Peak Monsters and others to really just build a ton of really cool features on top of it that make rentals, I'm excited for hopefully kind of a big explosion in the rental market from that. And then, kind of the next biggest thing that's going to be soon will be the SPS launch and airdrop, which I know you guys and I am also super excited for. Then hopefully not too long after that, there's going to be the land plot claiming, from all the redeeming of the land plot claims, I should say. So, which has been also a long time coming, and also really excited for. So there's kind of like, in my mind, like three major things that are coming up relatively soon. And then after that, it's going to be Chaos Legion. So I guess four major things that are coming up over the next few months here. And again, it's, in the past we've had fewer developers, so we couldn't have had all these things going on in parallel, but now we have a bunch of new people on board. So all these things are kind of going on, and I'm just running around trying to keep on top of everything that's happening, which is getting harder.
Can you talk about some of the people that have come on board, at least maybe their roles, if not the individuals, for privacy's sake?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, we can talk about that. So some of you may have noticed, if you keep tabs on the like team members section of the Discord, the longtime Hive and Steam user and developer who goes by FBSLO. I don't want to even try to pronounce that, but he's done a bunch of work for Leo Finance, and some other things like the Hive bridge to Ethereum for Wrapped Hive. He's coming on board to Splinterlands. He's been working on the SPS token contracts and the airdrop snapshot tool, which has to snapshot the Splinterlands assets on, not only Hive Engine, Steam Engine, in-game, Tron, Wax, Ethereum, and Binance Smart Chain every day. So that's no small project. We have, obviously everybody knows Cryptomancer is... Oh, I didn't even mention Brawls Phase 2 is a fifth thing that's going to be coming out soon. That's getting really close to done. We're designing the Gladiator card stats now, and the new special ability that all the Gladiator cards are going to have. So Cryptomancer is working on that. I'm also excited for him to be finished with that, because we would love to have him help out with some of this other stuff. Call Me Tim, who we've had on and talk a couple times. He's really kind of starting to handle a lot of the back end development work. So, things like optimization. We've actually done a lot of optimization on just like how fast we process blocks and things, just to hopefully try to make the game a little quicker when you submit transactions. But he's also working on some kind of lower level things that will be good for players. Like, for example, giving fine-grained control over active authority. So rather than just having active authority on or off, you could actually pick exactly which transactions you'll want to require active authority for and which ones you won't. And then he's also working on like more fine-grained delegation for different transactions. So you could say, like, I want to allow this other Splinterlands or Hive account to be able to do these transactions on my behalf. So if you want someone else to use your account to be able to play battles but nothing else, you could give them access just to the find match transaction and the submit team transaction and stuff to that, but nothing else. And we think that'll give, just a lot of flexibility for all the different services like YGG and, the DEC 10 whatever services that Neil McSpadden runs, to just, allow people to delegate out accounts or to have multiple people participating in certain accounts and splitting up rewards without giving giving people your keys, which we don't advise. So I might be missing some other things that we're doing, but that's I've been talking a lot, so I'll stop there.
Yeah. Other than that, nothing is going on with development. No, that's fantastic, Matt. It's exciting to see just how much that we're producing and rolling out and pushing forward. It's awesome.
I also, one thing I really like as the evolution of the business is it used to be like I was doing pretty much everything, or I was like very involved in everything, and now it's at the point I'm like trying to keep up with everything that's going on and like making sure I know what's happening, and like Nate and Cryptomancer designing brawl stuff, and FBSLO is off doing the airdrop stuff, and I'm just running around trying to make sure I know what's going on, which is good. That means we're we're distributing things out more.
Sweet. Okay, so I want to go through and do a couple questions, and then hopefully Cryptomancer can come on and he can talk some about the Guild Brawls. And if you guys have any questions about Guild Brawls, he's really the best person in-house to answer them. So if you guys have some specific questions about that, this would be a good AMA to do it. I'm scrolling up because it seems like there's a couple questions. I'm going to go to July 2nd, which is this morning. And then Biz is actually asking one of the questions I mean to ask. When will Splinterlands tournaments be starting up again? And he's asking me, but are we greenlit from the hard fork to get these back up, and I should put them up and where everything is okay?
Yeah, for sure. This was by far the most seamless hard fork I have ever been involved in. So, kudos to Block Trades and the rest of the Hive development team. I mean, there was like really hardly a glitch at all. I mean, not just hardly, there wasn't, as far as I could see, anything that happened as far as Splinterlands is concerned. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so when this is over, I'll go put up some more tournaments, and I think I'll rotate the time of them. I try to leave it at the same time for a couple months, so there's only one variable that I have to change. And it gets a little bit more complicated when I'm rotating times, but I know everybody likes rotating times, so I'll be doing that. So I'll try to get a month of tournaments up, which, hey, Matt, please make sure that the Splinterlands account has enough DEC to go make a month of tournaments.
All right, we can talk about that after.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Let's see. Fantasy Crypto's asking, for the land expansion, what kind of daily time commitment are you guys considering? One of the best aspects of this game is how relatively quick the matches are, as the land expansion will already increase the need for an extra selection round. Ranked play will managing land also require more time to tending each plot. Will the dynamic be as simple as one-click resource harvest, or will logistics need to be constantly considered in order to be optimized?
I'm kind of, I'm leaning more towards the one-click resource harvest type deal. And it's sort of like you kind of there might be some time taken to set up new plots, or like initially when things get started. And then it's, a set it and forget it and come in and, on a daily basis, kind of check what's going on. There's also a lot of opportunity for automation around all of that. And I'm always excited for third-party sites, the Peak Monsters and the Monster Market, to also expand into tools, or even new sites that don't exist yet, to expand into tools for land, for people that can automatically, just keep tabs on what's happening, and maybe give alerts if there's anything that needs to be handled, or they recommend that could be handled, and even automatically do it for you. So I kind of look for the majority of the time commitment to be spent on, battling and playing the game. And land is more like a passive, resource management type of thing. I don't want people having to sit there spending hours, just tending to plots. And I look at it kind of, it's, an empire building game of like a Clash of Clans style model, right? So, you plan your base and you build your buildings and you harvest your stuff a little bit, but then the majority of the play time is spent, doing the battles and stuff like that. So that's how I would look at it.
Yeah, the one thing I'd add to that is maybe having some weather effects or some rule changes, once a week or something.
There's going to be stuff.
And that's the
Sorry,
kind of thing that like totally kills everything you're doing. But if you want to maximize this, you will min max, for a couple minutes here and there on some of your plots that are affected.
Yeah. So there's definitely going to be stuff you have to do. But maybe like a daily thing. You come and you check on it. You see some alerts or notifications. You make a few changes, harvest your resources, and then get on to battling.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, so Level Up Life is asking, for people who own many plots of land, will they need the support of many people to help manage that land? With cards, it makes sense that one person only needs so many cards, but with land, is there a point where you have many plots, where you have to have many plots, just like you can have to have many Jotans?
I think there's supposed to be too many plots, just like you can have too many Jotans. Again, I'm hoping that you will be able to rent out your land and have other people just manage it and have some deal where you get paid a certain amount for renting out the land, and then you don't have to deal with it at all. But we just kind of talked about it. You should be able to kind of handle as many plots as you have, in the sense that it might take some time to set up initially, and then after that there could be either automated completely, or just you come in and you kind of click to claim all your resources and maybe check some alerts and notifications, and make some changes here and there. Obviously, like the more plots you have, the more little things you might have to do. But I don't think it should be. I mean, our goal, we want Matt Two Castles Clark to be able to manage his 2,000 plots of land, reasonably. It's not going to be a full-time job type of deal. So that's the goal here.
Kazrak is asking, with the two separate ranked formats introduced with Chaos Legion, which rating will decide your entry fees to tournaments?
That is a good question, and I don't know because we haven't looked at all that stuff yet. So this is all part of why, I think a lot of times people think like, oh, it's just easy. You add a new set of cards. We've done that before, and you just, have a new leaderboard, or, separate ranked ladder. But, every change we make to the game has like 20 at least of these like little things that you don't realize that depend on it and that you have to think through. So haven't thought through any of that yet. We're going to get to that, once we're ready to start building all of this. And we'll do what makes sense. So,
but
I don't know.
On a very insightful question. That was well done.
Yeah, that's part of also like a lot of what Byzantinus' role is here. I mean, not only like customer and tech support stuff that he does, which is great, but he also like, whenever we're working on these new features, he's the one that comes in and is, brings up a lot of these points, which is why it's also very important that he's a very active player of the game and participates in everything as much as possible. So sometimes people have said, team members shouldn't be allowed to play in tournaments and do all this stuff. But, I completely disagree, because if we don't actively do that stuff, we're not going to be able to make good decisions for designing the games. And I'm at the point where I'm not able to play. I definitely play ranked battles and try to do my quests, and I do the Guild Brawls. But I don't play enough to really be able to make all these decisions, as well as people who are very active in the game. So that's really important for this type of thing.
Moriarty 95 is asking, regarding the new upcoming rental system, will it be possible to see a record of your rental earnings somehow, like an overview where you can see how much you've earned within the last month or week, and also your current daily income or costs?
So that's not currently in the Splinterlands website UI that we've designed. I mean, you can see like your rental history, just like you can see your market purchase history. But I would say stick around to hear what Jarvie has to say after we're done, and ask some questions to him, because I would think that would be a great thing for Peak Monsters or other third-party sites to add. I mean, I know they're putting in a lot of like, APY, APR type stuff on for pricing cards. So I hope that they would be able to put that stuff in there too.
General Dark Chief is asking, with land, chaos packs, and new brawl system coming, how will it be possible not to have a decrease in the value of beta and alpha cards, as they will be less used in modern era?
Well, so the brawl system. Okay, so that's a very important thing, and we're very conscious to keep the value of beta and alpha cards. And there's a lot of points there. So the brawl system is going to have, definitely a lot of battles that not only allow alpha and beta cards, but there could be different frays, especially at the higher level brawls that a lot of guilds haven't got to yet, where there may be only alphas and betas allowed. So those will definitely be necessary for brawls. And then there's going to be, while there's the modern format, there's also going to be the wild format, which is, I guess, the name we're going with for now, where all cards can be used. And I'm sure, as anyone knows, having the alpha and beta cards are going to be, pretty key to being competitive there. And then on top of that, there's going to be the land expansion, which is one of the biggest drivers, we think, hopefully, of card value, where cards will be able to work on the lands, and alpha and beta cards will get significant bonuses as compared to the newer cards on their productivity when it comes to lands. So even if you're like, yeah, I'm not playing in wild format, I'm not using any of my alpha and beta cards, that's fine. You can use them on your land plots and get pretty significant bonuses for doing that, which earn you more resources and help you mint more of the item and spell cards and everything. Or you could rent them out on the rental market, which we hope will be expanding significantly by then, for other people to either use in battles or to use on their lands to get those bonuses. So, our expectation is that those cards, even if their use in battles is reduced a little bit, we're hoping that their utility overall in the game will go up significantly.
So when will there be a secondary market in-game for Splinterlands assets? And in the absence of this, can we get a filter for Splinterlands assets on Tribal Decks or Hive Engine and include a link in-game for a quick and dirty solution? Ulterior motive, he has many untamed packs.
Yeah, I'm building that right now. So I mentioned what all these other people are building. So since I'm still responsible for everything everyone else is building and keeping on top of that and managing the releases, I spend a lot of my time on that. But I'm also doing some development work on the smaller tasks, and that is one of them. So it's coming along well, and I'm hoping it can be finished up in the next week or two at the latest, because I really would like to see packs and land plot claims and other things, titles, whatever, just on the Splinterlands market. And you'll see when the new rental system is released, there's going to be tabs on the market screen. So there'll be tabs for those too with a coming soon message until they're there. So that means it's like, getting closer.
With the airdrop date soon approaching, is there an updated estimate of the airdrop points total?
I don't have an updated estimate, but the Snapshot tool should be done pretty soon, I've been told. So I can literally run that when it's ready, and then get the exact number of airdrop points there are, at the time that it's run, rather than just another estimate. So I guess I'll hold off, and hopefully next week we'll be able to pull an exact number to give to the community.
All right. Cryptomancer is asking, why is Chaos Legion called Chaos Legion? Can you tell us a bit of a backstory for the new set? So I'll come back to this. Chris Roberts, do you have a mic and are you able to speak? If yes, then he is the best person to answer that. And then when I get down to that later in the chat, we can pull him on.
Yeah, that is a good question. I would like to know that too.
Axler Twinblade, what is the status on achievements, and will you get rewards with them?
Achievements, unfortunately, have been reduced in priority as compared to all the other things that we have talked about. So, I would love an achievement system in the game. I know there's a thing that says coming soon on the player profile, which we may need to alter. So I don't have an update or status.
In and out, Matt.
Oh, I am. I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah.
Am I better now? Hello. Can you hear me?
It's not on my end because I would see drop frames or something, but I don't know.
That's very strange.
All right, so those things are delayed. Zathara is asking, when will the major update come? When are you doing the rentals? Is that Tuesday?
Yeah.
You're still a little choppy, but I bet it's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. have a status on
Rentals is next, right?
What's that?
Rentals is next.
Oh yeah, the rental system will be early this next week.
Okay, because I think that Zathar's question isn't very specific. When will a major update come? Well, a major update is with the rental system, and we'll have one as soon as the holiday weekend's over.
Yeah, I mean, then we talked about all the other stuff that's coming up. I think those are pretty much all major updates.
All right. Emily is asking when new card packs. And actually, I should mention with that, I've been talking to Brave, and we're looking at doing a Brave mini set that will actually have collectible characters. So there's still like a couple months in between now and Chaos Legion, but there might be a mini set opportunity of 5 Brave themed characters that would also have physical collectible sculptures with it, created by Digitspin Crypto or Digitspin. So that's just one mini set, but I think he's asking when Chaos Legion.
Yeah, we're looking at fall, hopefully early fall this year for Chaos Legion.
I think he's. Is this why is Chaos Legion called Chaos Legion? Chris Roberts responds, for the last several years, new people have been flooding into the Splinterlands after traveling the endless journey across the vast outer ocean. Many of them have shared stories of decimated kingdoms, destroyed homes, and shattered civilizations in the wake of an unnamed threat on the other side of the world. Chaos Legion is that threat. The Legion is an enemy like no one living in the Splinterlands has ever faced. They are some of the most ruthless forces gathered from across the reaches of time and space, and they are led by the vicious conqueror known only as Silas of the Rift. The battle will soon find its way to the Splinterlands, where the fates of multiple dimensions will be decided. So there you go. That's why it's called that. Matt is asking, plenty of rewards cards are off print. Another printing out soon. When can we expect new rewards cards?
Yeah, definitely. I always keep an eye on the rewards cards, and then always get behind still on getting those out when I would like. But I think after I'm done with the Gladiator card stat design, which needs to be done like in the next week or two at most, because we need to release it, then we'll do some new reward card design.
All right. How to get SPS airdrop?
All you have to do to get the SPS airdrop is hold Splinterlands assets. Any assets anywhere. You can check out sps.splinterlands.com for the white paper, and in the airdrop section it has all the details of each asset and the airdrop points they're worth. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Get Splinterlands stuff.
Platypus Dundee, who I'm assuming is Australian, it just sounds appropriate. Are there any plans for a player versus player historical count that shows how many times you've played each other and the win-loss count? I reckon this could be a bit of spice when playing regulars.
Yeah, I mean, that's the type of thing we have all the data for, but all the data is also public. So, if any third-party site wanted to do that, that would be awesome, and we could potentially help support that if they needed any help. As far as there's tons of cool little stuff like that we could put into the game, but it's just a matter of that stuff takes time away from SPS airdrop or Guild Brawls or Chaos Legion or land. So we kind of don't prioritize those nice to have or cool things as highly, and we look to support third party tools and services that do it. So, again, I'll mention anyone who wants to build Splinterland stuff and needs a little help, or support from us, please let us know. We're really super excited for all the third party things that get built.
What for we play Guild Wars brawls for guild and nothing for players? I guess he's asking what do we earn individually for our Guild War play?
Well, there's going to be primarily there's going to be an SPS token reward pool for Guild Wars. So you will start earning SPS tokens once that reward pool is released. Personally for yourself, not for the guild. And then when the Gladiator cards are released, you'll also earn those in your own account for participating in the Guild Wars. Now, those cards can only be used in the Guild Wars currently. But still that they can help you perform better. And even if you leave your guild to go to another guild, you take your Gladiator cards with you so you can perform better in the Guild Brawls and earn more SPS tokens. And then there'll potentially be other rewards for players as well, going forward.
Xanthonist is asking, yesterday Jarvie had a brief roundtable for the new rental system. I have a few follow-up questions for Matt. Jarvie described the new system that instead of being locked into a long-term rental contract, the new system is essentially like a 24-hour rental that can be renewed. Does that mean when the 24-hour period is ending, there is a chance that another player can steal your card rental before you renew it, or do the protocols provide priority for renewals?
No. So when you rent a card, you can specify a number of days that you want to rent it for, and you'll just have to pay for that number of days up front. So if you rent a card for like $1 a day, for 30 days, you'd have to put up $30 into escrow. And then, no one can take that rental from you until it ends. And you can also renew it during that period and extend that 30 days. So it would never be a situation where you have a rented card and someone can take it from you. Unless you let the period end without renewing it. The 24-hour thing is just that you can also cancel it. You or the card owner can cancel the rental. But, if they can't, if you rent a card at noon one day and, it gets canceled either by yourself or the card owner an hour later, the rental will still be effective until noon the next day. So for a 24-hour period. And that's because you've already paid for that. Up front, you pay for a day at a time. That'll automatically be handled. So that's what the 24-hour period means.
All right. Jarvie also said that Yavamat refers to the card being locked during that rental period. Do you mean locked colloquially or the technical game term that it is quote unquote locked?
Yeah, no, I don't know if I said that, but it's not locked as in the lock feature. It just means the rental stays active, the card is delegated to the renter for that 24-hour period. And then, after that period is up, it will be undelegated if it's not renewed or anything like that. So it's totally separate from the ability to lock cards so they can't be transferred. And, the question that's come up is that you can rent out locked cards. You will be able to list them on the rental market and have people rent them while they're locked in your account to prevent them from being stolen.
With the new rental system and the shift to 24-hour rentals instead of the old system where there was an escrow that you lost if you canceled rentals early and multiple day minimum rental periods, won't this mean that some bots and even some humans might just play once every season, do all the playing in a single day to maximize their season end rewards and only pay for 1 day's worth of rentals?
Possibly. So, we have a lot of things in the game that were put into place, the cooldown system being one of them, years ago, and a lot of stuff has changed since then. So these are the type of things where I want to kind of, I don't want to kind of hamstring things like the rental system and the ability for sites like Peak Monsters to automatically shuffle cards around to get best prices for players and things like that because of a system we had put in place years ago. So it's the type of thing we're going to look at once it's released and see if there's any type of exploits or abuse or problems that come out of it, and then find a solution that makes sense with how the game is working now, rather than just trying to keep things from a long time ago.
Axler Twinblade is asking, will Chaos Legions be adding any new Splinters to Splinterlands?
No, we have thrown around the idea of adding new Splinters here and there. I don't think we're planning to do that, at least not for Chaos Legion. It's kind of a bigger project and has a lot of these considerations. So I'm not sure. We're planning on doing that.
I'm a huge proponent of this. I love the idea of adding new splinters, and I love the idea of adding new splinters with specific functions, so that maybe they're like field worker splinters, or maybe they're something entirely different, some new class of cards, who knows what. But I really like that idea. But obviously it just has so many implications for like nearly every screen in the game. So that's not just hey, add another character, it'll be awesome. That's one of those things that Matt talks about of like, hey, your one little idea impacts 8,000 places in the game. So it's not just draw up a card and put some stats on it. It's a monster. All right, Biz is asking, when will rentals be implemented for land, totems, and titles?
I mean, when the land, totems, and titles are, able to be used for something. So right now, there's no reason to rent out land, totems, or maybe titles just for because people like to show them off. But yeah, I mean, once the land system is released, and I'm not talking about the initial release where you can redeem your claims for the plots, but like when you're actually using the land and building buildings and harvesting resources, at that point, we'll need to have the land and totems at the very least be rentable.
Ninjobu, do you all have an anticipated time frame of when tournaments will be available on the mobile app?
We don't, unfortunately. That's one of the things that is a design roadblock or bottleneck there. So we have Nate more than full time helping design all the other stuff that we're doing, and we haven't got really the mobile designs for those things yet. So I really want to get them out, but it just is not a priority as compared to all the other major features we're working on. Yeah, and we are looking to hire someone else who's a really good UI designer, but we haven't found anyone that's to the level that we want yet. We don't want to have someone we can't. Nate's already way more than full time working on stuff, so we also can't have him spending a ton of time training people. So we really want to try to find someone who's just really good and can come in and hit the ground running with this stuff. And we're still looking for that person.
Biz is asking, wouldn't it make sense for the type of tournament to determine entry fees? So wild tournaments, it depends on your wild rating. For modern tournaments, it depends on your modern rating. Yeah, possibly, but that might also be a whole lot of coding, and it may not make sense with the other priorities of the business. So it would make sense on its face, but then there's always 8 million other things to consider.
Yeah, so that's something we'll have to figure out when we do the wild and modern formats. So Byzantinist, you will be involved in that design process. As will anyone who wants to contribute, feedback or thoughts or ideas. So yeah, we'll figure that out when we get there. And you missed a question from JR Vacation.
Oops. No offense to JR Vacation. Oh, do you have a rough 5-year plan roadmap for this game?
I would say, we have in our heads, we haven't really sat down and talked about it. But, we've mentioned things like making other games, which is definitely something we want to do, that utilize all the Splinterlands assets, in different ways, and just kind of expand the Splinterlands world into more ways to use the cards. It's not we're just going to switch to a totally separate new product. But really we kind of look at the land expansion as sort of an entirely another game, just kind of that works with the existing game. And we'd like to have other things like that. So I think that's in my mind, the rough idea of what we want to do over, years from now. But then I try to not beyond that level of thinking, get too much in detail, because I feel things change month to month. And trying to figure out what we're going to do in a year from now, let alone 5 years from now, it's just almost a waste of time, because you just have no clue what things are going to be like at that point.
One idea I really like, Matt, and I know you and I haven't spoken too much about this, but now we have a little bit of funds in the bank. It might make sense to buy other games that are already functioning and see if we can't splinterify them or at least make them Hive blockchain compatible in some ways. And so that we could have pre-existing games and launch titles under that. I don't know if you've considered that at all, but that would be something that I would put on my 5-year roadmap.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if there was a good opportunity, that would be cool.
All right. All right. So this is Jim Crypto. This is at 9:39. Are there plans for Splinterlands token to be listed on any exchanges? Are there any whispers? You're the more conservative one of the two of us. I'm not touching this question. What would you like to say?
I mean, so initially there's going to be a pancake swap pool, which is like, you don't have to do anything to get a pancake swap pool. Anyone can make a pool just like on Uniswap. And that's where, that's where the majority of the trading of SPS is going to happen initially, is my guess. We are also, pushing really hard and doing what we can to get it available on some centralized exchanges, and possibly some DeFi platforms that can build on top of the pancake swap pool. But that we can't say anything until that's actually like a done deal and announced.
Greg Wolf, not a question, just want to say fun game. Trying to get a complete set of cards, not there because of some high-level summoners and dragon splinters cost a lot. Ideal use of NFT, and I don't really know what these were when I started collecting. So thanks for the educational opportunity. Even though I know battle is programmatic, I still find it fun watching battles play out. May need to start asking for help here to up my game. Thanks, y'all. No, Greg, thank you. It's great to get feedback like that. Happy to read it on air here. And you know what? People tell us like this is the most fun game in crypto pretty frequently. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. And thanks for taking a second to share that. New Mew is asking, when will SPS airdrop start?
It's going to be in the latter part of July, just because there's a lot of stuff to get ready and make sure is in place before then. Maybe even hopefully have some type of exchange announcements or anything before that time. Can't guarantee it, but we're trying. So yeah, I'd look for it towards the end of July, but really do everything we can to make sure we hit that date. And just because we've done a private token sale, and that's what we've been letting those investors and the player base and everybody know for that. So yeah.
Apparently, some people seem to think that accounts which got their spellbook through a promo code are not eligible for the SPS airdrop, and as a result, some people think they have to shift all their assets to an account which bought the spellbook. Can you please reassure players that all accounts, regardless of whether they were bought or redeemed through promo codes, will be eligible for the airdrop?
Yeah, in fact, you don't even need to have a spellbook to be eligible for the airdrop. So literally any account that is a Hive, it's just a Hive blockchain account that has Splinterlands assets in it. Spellbook, no spellbook, promo code, purchased, really doesn't matter, will be eligible. Actually, you don't even need to have a Hive account. If you hold Splinterlands assets on an external chain like Wax, you will need to create a Splinterlands account at some point in order to claim it. But that could be at any point. So you could just hold stuff on Wax, wait a year, and then come in and sign up for a Splinterlands account and claim those tokens, into your account from your Wax wallet holdings. So yeah, you really if you have Splinterlands assets in an account you control pretty much anywhere, you will be able to claim your airdrop. So you don't need to transfer assets or do anything like that.
All right, Biz is asking, when will we be getting an updated roadmap? And I guess I'll specify, is there a way that when we release an update regarding the rental system that we can put in some, big target dates or big project timelines at the bottom of that?
Yeah, I mean, Biz, I would say, you review all this stuff, so just remind me to put in a roadmap on these posts and we'll do it. I mean, it's not, it's really like kind of a whirlwind of stuff for me. I mean, we have like, we have posts, we have development work, we have server management, we have business management, finance, tax stuff, token investors. So like, I just kind of go around, and try to keep track of all this stuff as much as possible and like just hit everything that I'm supposed to get to. And I forget about a lot of things. So it's not like, we're trying to not put out an updated roadmap. It's just I probably didn't remember about it. No, I actually didn't remember about it. I can tell you that. So, Biz, when you see these upcoming updates, just be like, hey, put a roadmap in there, and then I will.
All right, I'm going to ask people to stop asking questions now. I still have a bunch of stuff to go through, and I want to get Cryptomancer online to give us an update on Chaos Legion. So please stop asking new questions for now. 23 Cabbage, when will Splinterlands Chaos Legion be released? And Matt said fall. So, maybe it's September at the earliest, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, I guess I guess fall technically starts September 21st, but I'm hoping for a September release. But to be more conservative, I'll say fall. But my internal goal is September.
Yeah, if we're somehow outrageously aggressive, it's August. If it's real or more likely, it's September, maybe October. And if we start getting into November, December, we're behind. But we definitely need to get this thing out by the end of the year. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, Tuesday for rentals. I'm excited. Thank you, Jarvie. We're excited to be working with you and Peak Monsters. Marco is asking, after a Twitter ban, any new idea about telling players they have a Hive account and all posts and communication is possible there? The last few days, I've seen some players that have no idea there's a blogging part to their account. That's not really something that we can go handle in all of our messaging, but you guys can certainly go and make blog posts and put them in here and share them. And we do link to the blog through the website a bunch. I don't know.
Well, I'll also say that, so Nate has actually already designed a new player, onboarding experience for when they buy the spell book, which kind of takes them through the whole process of creating their Hive account, and getting their keys and everything. And it's just a matter of putting it in and, doing the development work to put it in the game. But I would like to get that done if we can soon. And that's it's like this whole kind of multi-step process that takes you through, here you're creating an account for Splinterlands, but it's also a Hive account. Here's how you get your keys. Here's why your keys are important. Here's how you should save them. And then, it also goes into a little bit about Hive. And it doesn't currently, I don't think, mention the blogging stuff, but there's plenty of opportunity to add more into that. So, and I agree, it's great to let people know a little bit more about the account that they're creating and what they can do with it.
Will the current process for unstaking SPT tokens count for the snapshot for the SPS? So if I own SPS but they're unstaking, do I have to have staked SPT for the airdrop, or is it just?
No,
SPT?
It's just any. It should be both staked and liquid. I don't know off the top of my head how it works with tokens that are in the process of being unstaked. But as long as we can easily grab that information from Hive Engine, which I would imagine we could, it should be included.
All right. Will Silas be a playable character? I think that's for Chris Roberts. I don't know that we've built Silas yet, but that sounds like a sweet airdrop to go put into the game at some point. Chance the Guy is asking, with the ZenSpots partnership, are there any plans for Splinterlands matches to be bettable on their site at some point? Yeah, I think it'll be more the tournaments that they'll do, but that's really up to them. That's a separate service offering separate prize pools that just happen to play our game. So I would say you should ask ZenSpots what their plans are. Biz is asking, Nate and Cryptomancer have been calling the individual brawl rewards as merits, not SPS tokens.
Oh yeah, merits are different than SPS tokens. So merits will be tokens that players earn, but they won't be tradable or sellable or anything like that. And they'll just be used to buy things in the guild shop, like the Gladiator packs and other things. So that's that's in addition to the merits. There will also be SPS token rewards for Guild Brawls, which will be, the regular cryptocurrency token that can be traded and sold and all that stuff.
Fiorenz is asking, Guild Wars cards will only be usable in Guild Wars. That's just the Gladiator cards. And there might be others later, who knows, but that's just the Gladiator ones for now. Monster Veritas is asking, could you publish basic questions, answers in text posts so that people who find it difficult to understand English by ear can translate with the help of translators? Maybe. I mean, if there's, I like to build those things into the Discord bot. So if there are like super frequent questions that we're getting, and it would be good if you could just type a command and have that appear as an answer for somebody, I'm open to that. MM2SS is asking, when will wax for DEC exchange be possible?
I mean, everything it should be relatively easy to just put DEC on wax through the existing bridge. And my understanding is they have some fungible token, like Uniswap, like platform there. It's just one of the many things we haven't got to yet.
Well, we could do, do we have wax in the Splinterlands account somewhere? Do we have a bunch of wax sitting around?
We have some. But
I mean, we could do a wax DEC pool on Hive Engine.
Or we could if Hive Engine supports wax tokens. Then,
that happened. We're live, baby. So that's something that we could do.
All right, then. We could work on that.
Sweet. Are you teaming up with any YouTubers, influencers, gamers, or online publications to market the SPS token launch? Yes, it's a little slow right now while prices have dipped, but you guys should go follow Willy Woo on Twitter. He, I think, is the smartest guy that talks about on-chain dynamics of Bitcoin and what it means for prices. He seems to think that the bull market is very much intact. This is one of the biggest bullish divergences he's ever seen, and I'm hopeful that prices will rise, and when they do, sentiment to spend Bitcoin to get into tokens like SPS will go up. So who knows?
Just to be clear, he's not saying Willy Woo is in any way going to be involved with SPS tokens or Splinterlands. No, just that he's a good person to look at for how the general crypto market may be doing.
Yeah. So right now, what I'm mostly saying is that while Bitcoin is down, getting YouTubers and influencers and stuff like that is a little slow. But if he's right and it picks back up before the end of the year, then it should be easier to onboard those people. So those are not meant to be financial predictions, just meant to be the market conditions that I'm currently experiencing make it difficult for me to do basically influencer onboarding. And that if market conditions change and the best influencer that I know regarding that seems to think that it will, then in the near future, somewhat medium term future, should be easier for me to go get YouTubers on board and influencers. So not trying to predict money stuff, just trying to share market conditions seem to be influencing that. Demon402 is asking, will cooldowns still apply for leasing?
Yeah, nothing's going to change if you're just, delegating your cards not through the rental market. And again, that's something we'll kind of look at and we'll see how things go with the rental market, but or maybe if we could at least reduce the cooldown times. But at least the rental market, at the very least, ensures that cards will remain rented out for a minimum of 24 hours.
Do you foresee some characters being more adept to specific tasks and land use, for instance, mining, or will working the land default to some rarity DEC power? Do you see, this is kind of what I was getting at with other splinters or cards specific for the land. But I don't know, Matt, do you see how some characters might be really good at mining land as opposed to just being a, alpha rare that's level 7?
Possibly. But in general, I think it's what we're definitely planning is that different card splinters will be better at working on certain types of land. So you don't want a fire splinter monster, working on a lake land tile or land plot, for example, and things like that. As far as making like specific cards in the game better than other cards, not related to their rarity or gold foil or anything like that. It may be, I don't know, but I don't think that's like the initial idea here, because then it's also like, are we just favoriting certain cards or things like that? So maybe there's like new types of cards that will have that, like Agrod was saying. But I'm not sure we really want to do that for the existing cards.
Actually, Twinblade is asking, since the cards are NFT based, could a third party make a site that uses all the Splinterlands cards but comes up with a whole new combat style? And if something like this were done, if Splinterlands were willing to allow that third party site to use the Splinterlands API to issue rewards?
Yeah, I mean, definitely third party sites. Ultimately, I would like to see, anyone being able to create their own, version of splinterlands.com, just like, anyone can create their own front end for Hive. There's Peak and, Hive blog and all those different things. So I'd like there to be, different Splinterlands front ends. And then also, I'd love for people to be able to make different games or that use Splinterlands cards. I think at like one point there was a game that was like trying to use assets from other games, and one of them was Splinterlands, but I guess nothing ended up coming of that. But that's definitely something I would love to see in the future. I don't really understand about using the Splinterlands API to issue rewards. If they're building a different game, if it's just a web interface for the existing Splinterlands game, then the rewards would be the same existing Splinterlands rewards, and they would just be showing it on their website. If they want to make a different game that gives out, then they would have to make their own rewards pool or have rewards come from somewhere else, not Splinterlands. But that's something I would love to see in the future, and it's part of like the work that we're doing in the back end that people don't see to make it possible in the future for anyone to run their own Splinterlands node and independently, keep track of all the assets and all that stuff. Will hopefully help with that.
All right, Unit QM is asking, joining late, so if you already answered this, please ignore, but some not just fumes and earthquake matches appear to be decided by the position of a user on the top or bottom of the screen. Can we alter this to resolve the damage of those rule sets at the same time?
Yeah, you're right. And I have done a lot of coding work to that effect. And it's one of those many things that I need to get to, as far as like, it's gonna be a ton of testing, because that's like it was a pretty big rework of the battle system to have those effects happen simultaneously. And it's the type, keep bringing it up, the squeaky wheel gets the grease type of thing. And I really hope to get that, like, on a QA site and have a bunch of people testing it in like a tournament where we could put up some prizes for on QA, and then spend some time fixing all the issues that I'm sure there will be to get that out. But it's if it was a quick thing, it would have been done a long time ago, but it's like a pretty significant rework of the entire battle system to get that to happen.
Cryptomancer's asking, you mentioned certain types of cards such as Alpha Beta will give bonuses when used on land. What about Gladiator cards? In addition to their primary purpose for use in brawls, can they also be used as land workers? And if so, will they grant any special benefits for land?
So I don't want to commit to that, but I like that idea. So yeah, that's what I'll say.
Okay. Unit QM at 944. Can we fix rarity filter in AtomicHub?
What's wrong with the rarity? Oh, it doesn't work. That's weird. I will have to reach out to the Atomic Assets team about that, because I don't control any of that. All
right. Jarvie wants an HBD to DEC pool. I don't have enough personal fund handy to go run around and build all these diesel pools, but I'm happy to go build the actual HBD to DEC pool and take care of that personally. But I would need Splinterlands or Splinterlands players to go populate it.
I would say we don't really we are, we have a lot of DEC requirements. Like Agro mentioned earlier, for tournaments, we need to get the DEC to do tournament prizes. We need to get DEC for lots of other things. The DEC prices have been higher on external markets. and we do a lot of buying there, to support these things. So, I would like there to even be more liquidity on the Hive DEC market. So I really like, I mean, I don't want to say we don't have the resources, but I don't necessarily want to split resources up into even more pools right now. So I think, if we can look at any other ways to incentivize other people to add liquidity to other pools, that is great. And hopefully in the not too distant future, these things can be put up for governance proposal voting. So, it could be, does the player base want to add more DEC inflation to the game to offer as rewards for liquidity providers like we have for Uniswap? Maybe you could say, oh, we want to add some extra inflation to DEC to be able to incentivize more pools on tribal decks or on Wax or wherever it is, or potentially SPS tokens. For things like that. So it's more about what the community values, for these type of pools and things. That's what ultimately I would really like, rather than us just deciding to do different pools or having to commit our own resources to all these different pools.
All right, Flavi at 946 is asking, will there be a diminishing return for level monsters which are used as workers on land? In other words, will 4 single BCX GFL cards be equal in bonus stats to a max GFL?
So I'm not sure. Yeah, go ahead.
My first pass is no. That one, you won't even have spots for necessarily 4, but even then, you should be getting benefits for higher level cards.
Yeah, so we haven't actually designed all the actual stats for this. But yeah, like Agrod said, the main thing is, even if 4 single BCX cards would be equal in stats to a card, one card with 4 combined into it, you have a limited amount of workers that can work on the land. So if there's 4 spots in total, you could have the 4 single BCX cards, or you could have 4 max level cards and get 4 times the benefit that way. So there's kind of, even if it's like what's the word, like a linear scale, there's still a benefit to having combined cards.
Remember to let us know when the next AMA is. We're skipping the midday one, right? So we're going back to evening, 8 p.m. Eastern.
I don't know. I think I can do a midday one next week. I don't have anything going on.
All right, let's do that then. Next one will be 2 p.m. Eastern,
which is 6 p.m. UTC.
I send me and Matt little updates for this, so I'll put that into the calendar for next week. That did I just say 2 p.m.?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right. So now, where can I find information about when card sets are moving from standard to wild? I've heard this about beta in some videos, but I'm not sure where those details are coming from. Yeah. What do you have a thought on what makes for a modern format card?
Yeah, I mean, so the details are coming from, we've just talked about it in these AMAs. So we haven't yet put out any official updates or posts for all that. That will come when we're closer to actually releasing Chaos Legion, and these things are 100% definitely going forward. But the idea is that once Chaos Legion is released, there will be 2 separate ranked season ladders. And one will be called Modern, which will only be for newer cards. Newer cards will be any card that has the Untamed card frame or newer, or the Chaos Legion card frame, obviously. So that's an easy way visually that you can tell. So alpha and beta cards, older reward cards, and the promo cards, orb cards, that type of stuff will not be able to be used in the modern format, and will be used in the wild format. Only for ranked battles, and again, you'll be able to easily tell based on the frame of the card.
Okay, so I think we're done. Oh, no. Is there a new gameplay mode planned for the future? Something like Hearthstone Battleground? Yeah, we will keep introducing additional gameplay modes. The wild format is a format, not quite a mode, but that is the kind of stuff that is on the radar, but no promise of when or where.
Well, I would say that the one we have announced is like when land is fully released, there's going to be new types of cards, the item and spell cards, which will be another like round in the battles. So so that is I would call it a new gameplay. Well, I mean that's planned to be the primary gameplay mode. But you know that is the main thing I guess we have coming up.
Now Mancer is typing, so I'm going to go. I'm unlocking Cryptomancer from chat. Mancer, we're already running 5 minutes late, but if you have maybe a 5-minute update for us and just want to talk about brawls and where you're at, I think the community would love to hear it.
Sure, I'll keep it short. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, coming in clear.
All right. So I'm getting pretty excited because we're approaching the finish line for Brawls Phase 2, which is going to be a huge update to Brawls. I'd say it's going to be as big as the introduction of Brawls itself, with all the new features that we're planning on adding. So I've been spending the last week or so just finishing up the coding for all the special rules on Gladiator cards. And those are now done and just awaiting the final stats from Matt. And this week, I'm starting to look at the last remaining UI elements that still need to be slotted in place. So the overall big picture is kind of done now. Everything's implemented on the back end. It's pretty well tested already. And I'm just doing the icing on the cake now. Those last little bits and details and subtleties that are going to really make it a polished experience. And we haven't had much eye candy yet in this AMA, so I do have a new screen here that I can show you. Let me see if I can paste this in. Here we go. Okay, so this is a screen design from Nate. It's not completely implemented yet, so this is just a concept design at the moment, but I'm fairly confident the final screen is going to look like this, and this is what I'm working on implementing this week. So this is a new opponent revealed screen that is going to show up when you click on that enter battle button in the brawls. And the reason for this is that we want to show a lot more information about the special tactics that are being applied as a result of the new barracks building. And here you can also see how the away team versus home team distinction comes into play. So you can see on this screen, I'm facing an opponent in the enemy arena. And that means that I'm going to have certain disadvantages that I have to deal with in the battle. So the home field guy gets the advantage. In this case, the enemy arena, they've also built a barracks and they've unlocked several of the special tactics abilities. So you can see down at the bottom when I'm playing this battle, I'm going to be dealing with a couple monkey wrenches thrown into the battle. Those banish tactics means that the enemy has forbidden me from using living lava, and it looks like Yoden Zaku in the battle, so I won't be able to select those cards for use. And there's another tactic there called advantage, which means the home team gets to win if there's a tie. So that can be a pretty important distinction. And I can also see information about my opponent that I'm facing there, so you can see the standard stuff about the rule sets and the mana and whatnot. But you see one interesting thing. The mana cap is 23 plus 1, and that's because not only does the enemy team get some advantages, I also get an advantage because my own guild has the Surge tactic active, and that means that I get to use a +1 mana in all of my battles. So the normal mana cap for this battle would be 23, but for me, because my guild has Surge active, my mana cap is going to be 24. So that's pretty cool. So yep, I'm working on this week, and then after this, probably by the middle of the month, we're going to be ready to go into QA testing. And we're going to have, it's going to be similar to the way it was when Brawls first launched. We'll probably have a short public testing period where the Mavericks can get on the test server and actually see some of these new concepts and features in action. And hopefully if everything goes smoothly with that, then we'll be able to launch close to the end of the month, I would expect. And
So-
I see a question. Yep, sorry.
Well, one question I have, isn't it going to totally ruin the game and everything will be destroyed that we have any of these benefits that are only for the home team? Can you just share a little bit about, how is the game fair? How is this balanced out over time?
So one way it's balanced is that you get roughly the same amount of home matches versus away matches. So like about 50% of the time, you're going to have some nice advantages working for you. But then the other 50% of the time, the opponent is going to have some nice advantages working for them. So you might get smashed sometimes because of these tactics. Other times you'll be the guy doing the smashing. And I think it will kind of all average out over time. And then also, of course, you're going to want to level up those gilding buildings so you can start to use these tactics. So you'll need to level up your barracks building in order to unlock them.
All right. And then you saw one of the questions that you wanted to answer there.
Yeah, Floey was asking, is there a new avatar in that brawl screenshot? Good eye, Floey. Yes, that is a new avatar. But that's just a concept art. That's not actually something that we're adding to the game at this point. It's something that we might potentially add in the future. So one of the things we were talking about is that in the new guild store building, where you're going to be able to buy various things with the individual merits that you earn, we might potentially be adding some things like new guild avatars and banners and artwork and stuff to that store. But nothing is set in stone yet for that, and that's those are things that we'll probably gradually add over time. You can see there's also at the very top of the screen is a little indicator for SPS tokens as well. You may have noticed that.
Yeah, that did sneak in there. Matt was kind enough to explain what the yellow crystals are. Okay. Well, Manser, that's some beautiful, beautiful eye candy. Man, so Biz is asking a couple questions. Why don't you answer those quickly? And then I want to go to Chris Roberts just for a couple minutes, and then we're going to close this thing down.
All right. So, yeah, that's a good point there about the odd number of opponents. So, yes, if it's not an even number of matches, then, of course, it can't be precise every single time. And there's no record keeping per se across phrase, so the game's not going to remember what happened the last time and then try to balance it out differently. So this is one of those things that just should statistically average out over time as you play dozens and dozens of matches over time.
Okay. Let's go grab Chris Roberts. As always, Manser, thank you for your help. Thank you for building this game. If I could clone you, I would instantaneously. You're fantastic and a wonderful asset to have helping us. So
yeah, I just want to say real quick, I got to head out because I have something at 10:15. But thanks everyone for being here. And please stay on to listen to Chris. And then Jarvie is going to talk about the rental system afterwards. So stick around for that. I'm sorry I have to head out, but thanks, guys.
Okay. Unmuting Chris Roberts. Chris, why don't you tell us a little bit about marketing in general and DYGYCON as it relates to this group?
Hey, community. I hope everybody's doing good. This sounds like a lot of exciting things happening. I'm definitely excited about all the updates on the horizon. First off, DYGYCON is on the 17th of July, 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern. You can use that link right there to go pre-register now. The event is getting bigger and bigger every time, so we kind of anticipate this time that it's going to fill up to capacity. So on that Saturday, make sure you're there on time if you want to be assured to get a spot, because only 500 at a time can be in the space. And that event and things like that, reaching out to new partners and to our connections and different friends that we have in the blockchain space is more important than ever when we've got this kind of stuff going on with Twitter. And I also just wanted to say a few words about that. I don't think anybody should be discouraged or afraid of what's happening with Twitter. That's just Twitter being Twitter. We all know that kind of thing happens. That's why we're involved with blockchain, most of us in the first place. That's why we're built on a blockchain. We're not so easy to silence. And then we're taking this as an opportunity, you know, like we like to turn obstacles into opportunities. And so when we're, you know, banned or suspended or whatever from Twitter, that's just an opportunity to spread awareness of that situation. So all it does is change the messaging, changes the way that we are presenting ourselves to the world. And that's a story that people need to know and they want to tell. So use hashtag free Splinterlands, follow the new Twitter account, Splinterlands HQ. And a side note on that, once the old one is reinstated, I'm going to turn Splinterlands HQ into an exclusive Splinterlands meme account. So that should be fun. So yeah, we don't rely on Twitter. We never have like relied on them. They've just been a convenience more than a necessity. So you know, we're still growing, and it's kind of just all exciting stuff that's happening. So we're feeling very positive, and Splinterlands is stronger than ever.
Okay, I'm gonna close down the official part, the AMA. So I just want to say thanks to the team, thanks to the community, thanks to the SPS buyers of the private sale, thanks to you know, we've gotten our first VC investor incubation. The gamers themselves have invested here. There's just been like, there's never a moment where Matt and I don't feel like there's people in this community and just in business in general that are supporting us. They've always been supporting us. There's always been people there. And right now, the game has cash to operate, a bright future, lots of product in place, cool new stuff, like really just now about to start rolling out again. And you know, it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to do this. And when Matt and I try to think through, hey, what are we going to design next? What are we going to do? How are we going to build? You know, I can tell you in all of these conversations, we really try to start with how do we get the most value back to the players? And hopefully you feel that in our design, and hopefully you see that with the growth of our game. And actually, I'm going to bury the lead a little. I should have done this earlier, but we just had so many questions coming through. So for June, I want to share, we had 11,792 signups. And that is the all-time high. We broke 10,000 new signups. That's the first time we've ever done that. So last time in May, we had 9,622. This time we had 11,792. In terms of spellbook purchases in May, we had 1,556. And in June, we had 1,923, almost a 33% increase. Right now, we are sitting on total accounts. We have 104,595 accounts registered, and the total spellbooks are 27,157. At the end of last time, we were at 92,803 and 25,234 for total spellbooks. So just sorry to bury some of those stats at the end and to share them so quickly without kind of being able to type some stuff out about it. But generally speaking, it's a nice increase. So for May, we were averaging 310 signups per day. And in June, we're averaging 407. So that's about a 33% increase. And for spellbooks, we averaged 50 in May, like purchases per day. And in June, we had 66. So I can't do 16 divided by 55. Maybe that's also about a 30% increase. I don't know. All things are looking good, and things are actually accelerating. So we're growing faster, and that's what I have to share. So thanks, everybody. You guys are great, and I'm glad to see this game grow.